YouTube. So today I'm going to talk about nerd and basically the acceptance of our community, because I've been thinking about it recently. In English, we had to write an essay, and it was supposed to be a persuasive essay, and it could be about anything. I really didn't want to do any research, so at first it started out, I was like, okay, what can I convince someone about that's funny? I don't want to write about why I should have food in classrooms, or I don't believe in capitalism, stuff like that. It started off as a joke, so I chose why people shouldn't think I'm weird. And whenever I write, I take on the tone of real, almost ironic sarcasm. I think it's brilliantly written, obviously. Yeah, I should get an A. I wrote it. It's beautiful. I just had to run downstairs to get my flash drive. This is Porkchop, by the way. He's my little USB. And I wanted to read it to you first and then discuss. It's called I'm Not Weird, I'm Just Me. There are many people out in the world who have the same interests as me. I like Harry Potter, maybe too much, but there are others out there who love it just as much. And in my free time, I like to make videos, write, and make sarcastic remarks. This is funny. Deal with it. Last summer, I watched Joss Whedon shows on Netflix like it was nobody's business. It was awesome. Doctor Who is my favorite show of all time, and practically everyone I know has never even heard of it. I love music, and my role models are all from YouTube. I consider myself a nerd, but that doesn't make me weird. Being a Harry Potter fan, laughing at my own jokes, and calling myself a nerd is part of who I am, and if I were a dancer, or if I wanted to be a scientist, people wouldn't think of me too differently than anyone who didn't like the things I like. No one has the right to call me a nerd and think it's an insult. My childhood has been defined and shaped around the Harry Potter franchise. If you were to go into my bedroom, you would see 7 different posters and flyers derived from The Boy Who Lived, and an entire bookshelf covered with multiple copies of each book, along with memorabilia. I'm not so different from other HP fans, though. Every year, there are Harry Potter conventions all across the country, and thousands of people attend. LeakyCon was one of the first, and has been the most popular since. If I'm so weird, why is there a mass of people dressed up as the characters and selling out midnight premieres? The storyline of the books is one that never gets old and is honestly written to a fantastic degree. There are music groups that solely write songs about Harry Potter, and there are over 100 of them. Some of the more popular groups are Ministry of Magic, the Parselmouths, the Whomping Willows, and the Remus Lupins, just to name a few. Wizard Rock, or Rock, had been written by people all over the world and can be found on iTunes. Am I weird because I listen to music about something that millions of people love? What's your favorite song? Is it about love? Most likely. Imagine if you couldn't listen to songs about something that made you feel happy, or songs about love without being considered strange. That would be a rough life. I like songs about Harry Potter, but some of the songs you hear on the radio are about Katy Perry kissing girls and choosing seats on Fridays and loving aliens. Come on. I'm weird? I simply enjoy an original story that inspires people to be creative and do the things they love. I always think I'm funny, even when no one else appreciates my comic genius and witty, snappy retorts. The fact that I can laugh at myself means that I like myself, which is actually pretty impressive when you're looking back on a lot of other 16-year-old girls. The only problem is that I can't really have a serious conversation without using sarcasm. But is that really a bad thing? I lighten the mood, and most of the time, one other person will laugh with me, or at me, but hey, I'm not complaining. Just so long as they laugh at the right spot. Also, you can usually tell when I'm uncomfortable because I'll look more awkward than usual and refer to my extensive dictionary of sarcasm. On my first day of 6th grade, I was sitting at lunch with some kids who I'd just met. One of my new teachers sat down in the only empty seat and was talking with the table, every now and then throwing around some big words. I was awkward. So shoot me. The first thing I ever said to that teacher was, "That's quite an impressive vocabulary you got." He looked down at me and smiled. Then he said that I kind of came off as abrasive. He then proceeded to ask if I knew what that meant, and I answered no. "Picture sandpaper," he said, "on skin." "Raw," I answered, nodding that I could picture an arm chafed to the point that it might start bleeding. He smiled at me. That's abrasive. Needless to say, it was not the best first day of school. And the only good thing that came out of that day was that story, actually, which I tell much too often. I'm sarcastic. I think I'm funnier than I am, and sometimes it shows. But I know that I'll always be able to have something that can cheer me up, and not everyone can say that. If that makes me odd, so be it. Eyesight issues run in my family, so it was only a matter of time before I got glasses. I've gone through several pairs, but the ones I have now are large, gray, and major nerd glasses. Although I'm not sure what is so wrong with being a nerd. John Green once said, saying, "I noticed you're a nerd," is like saying, "Hey, I noticed that you'd rather be intelligent than be stupid, that you'd rather be thoughtful than be vapid, that you believe that there are things that matter more than the arrest record of Lindsay Lohan." Why is that? In fact, it seems to me that most contemporary insults are pretty lame. Even lame is kind of lame. Saying you're lame is like saying you walk with a limp. Yeah, whatever, so does 50 Cent, and he does all right for himself. John Green is a YA author, and he and his brother Hank make videos on YouTube. They have over 500,000 subscribers and a large following of people who take pride in calling themselves nerdfighters. The way the Green brothers described it, nerdfighters are not fighters of nerds, but are in fact made of awesome. There's a gang sign and inside jokes and lots of success as a result of Nerdfighteria, or the population of the nerdfighters as a whole. Together, nerdfighters have raised over $50,000 in donations for charities and spawned a community where you are encouraged to be yourself. I'm a nerd, and if that's meant to be an insult, you need to do your research, because that is a source of pride for some very successful people and me. There are many parts of me that define how I live my life and make me different. In Orlando, there's a Harry Potter theme park, and when you Google Harry Potter, there are over 197 million hits. So obviously, I'm not alone there. Sarcasm is defined as being harsh or scornful, but the way I use it is in no way intended to be hurtful. It's simply an outlet for my anxiety. The Green brothers have made it widely known that the word nerd is the new black. As you grow older, people around you encourage you to be unique and be yourself. But sometimes peers and bullies will taunt you and make you feel awful about staying true to yourself. In the end, it doesn't matter, and the only person you should actually care about is yourself, and the opinion that matters most is yours. I turned that essay in the other day, and I have not gotten it back. It will be interesting to see what my teacher writes back to me as comments, because I really think that the society's definition of what is acceptable is kind of outrageous right now. If people don't like who you are, then they're hypocrites. I can't even imagine what it would be like to live somewhere where people were just like, "Oh, hey, you like stuff. That's awesome. I like different stuff, but we can be friends and I won't judge you." Because that doesn't happen, and that should happen. I feel sad about that, because things like that are very important to me, and I was just thinking the other day about how life is a bunch of ups and downs, and people like to define their lives by ups and downs. If you think about it, most of the time, your memories from when you were younger are bad ones, because you don't remember things that don't cause you lots of trauma a lot of times, because you think most about the things that caused you pain or embarrassment. I'm getting off topic. I don't judge people. I even try not to judge people when I'm peer editing their work. That's a whole other story. The world should be a place where you're allowed to be yourself. But most of the time it's not. And I wish I could do something about that. So that's why I'm talking about it right now. Thanks for listening to me. I'm really curious about what you guys would say, so leave a comment. Throw in your 2 cents about whatever this is that I'm talking about. I'll see you guys later.